just to do my normal setting up. So then you're not having to watch that boring bit. So there we go, that's that bit up. I'm going to change that to live chat. It's a pain in the backside that you have to do this whilst you're on the live. Excuse me. Right. So, okay. I am alive. Get myself set up now. Just have a little drink of my brew. Ooh, that's hot. I always say that, don't I? Who's that? Becky B. Hello again. We'll just wait a couple of minutes for other people to come join us, because obviously, as I say, I have come on just a tad early so that I could get myself set up on the computer and stuff. For those of you that are watching the replay, you might want to fast forward it a bit. And in case you didn't know, if you hover your mouse over the screen, if you're on a laptop, say, I don't know what it's like for a tablet. Hi there, Catherine, nice to see you. If you hover over the screen where I'm like now waving to you, there is like a cog, and if you click on the cog, you've got playback speed, and you can change the speed of it, so you can speed me up or slow me down. So that would be quite funny to listen to me slowed down. But yeah, it just means that, you know, you haven't got to listen to me prattling on too much. Hurry up with your toast, Pat. Don't forget your brew as well. Ah, dear. It's been one of those days where I haven't had too much to do, so I've been kind of sat here going, da-dum, 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 waiting to do this. Because I'd got all prepared and ready. She says, cross-fingered, that everything's in order. I'll do a little bit of talking whilst we're waiting for others to come join us. So, thank you very much to those who have already purchased my book that I've written. It's very much appreciated, and also all the other bits and bobs that you've been buying as well. That's been really helpful. If you've already had a look at the pages that you've printed off and you've thought to yourself, half the information's missing, Carol. No, it's not. Basically, over the next few weeks, I am going to be going through certain subjects which are listed in this book, and then you can write in the book in your own words, the answers to some of the things that are in here. Okay, there's a lot of information in here, but you need to start adding your own information as well. So, as a for instance, when I start going on about the papers that you can use in your signatures, I'm going to have a whole video just on papers. I might even have to do that as a live, because there's a lot. And then you can start to write down papers that you've already got, papers that I'm going to show you that you think, oh, I haven't got that, but I'd like it. And the other thing that I wanted to tell you was just to explain the setup of how all of this works. And I've just thought, Is the sound okay, ladies, or is it hissing again in the background? I just thought I'd better check. Hello there, Mrs. Vintage Lady. Did you see my reply to you earlier? I know there's a bit of a delay, so the way that I'm setting this year up, all's good, thank you, Catherine, is that during February, because obviously I've been away for a while, so I started making videos again in January, and then during February we made loads of different envelope journals every week. That was to give you a basis for you to work with for future videos that are going to be coming up. All right, so that you've got something to work on. So you're not having to make a journal and then start to work on it, because I'm going to go through as many things as I can relating to making journals and junk journals so that you've got all the knowledge. I'm not always going to be here, you know, as in on this earth. There will come a point. So I want to get as much information out there as is possible. Now then, starting in March, today being the first one, the first Friday of every month, I will show you how to make a journal. And there'll be different journals every month. And then the rest of the month, it will be showing you how to decorate and create items to go into your journals. So every video that I do will be a lesson, so to speak. Okay? Excuse me. So that it's taking you through everything step by step by step. And then eventually you'll know as much as I do. As I say, I've been doing this for a long time now, and I've been teaching it for a long time, and teaching is my style, okay? But I want to do this on my terms. Previously, I felt as though I was doing it on everyone else's terms, and YouTube is a funny thing because of getting the algorithms right, to make sure or to ensure that people come and watch your videos so that you can make a bit of money doing this, because this is how I make my money, is doing YouTube videos and selling digital kits. So trying to keep up the momentum of producing videos all the time, to get the numbers coming in and to keep that momentum of the numbers going, it just ends up being really hard work, to be honest, and not pleasurable, not enjoyable at all. And then you get those that are constantly searching for that new thing, you know, or a different way to decorate something, a different way to make a little paperclip embellishment, you know. And there are people out there who do that they can have it. That's up to them if that's what they want to do. But I want to do things that I enjoy making, because then I think that I can pass on the pleasure of creating to you guys. But as I say, I do it in a teaching style. And one of my friends did tell me once, she said she watches other YouTubers because it's just a general chat and it's just a bit of this and a bit of that, and they're creating along the way. She said, whereas you teach, Carol. Well, I do teach. It's what I do. And I can't make apologies for that, and I can't change myself. So I am who I am, and that's the way I do it. Hi there, Jan. What did Vintage Lady put? You do you. Thank you very much, I will. We love it. Thank you. There are so many fabulous videos you have made, and I'm so appreciative the teaching method. Hi there, Kim. Hi there, Kerry. Hey, you're down under. I come from a land down under. Is the cyclone affecting you at all, Kerry? I've been watching it on YouTube. Don't apologise for being yourself. The thing is, Becky, I'm not kind of apologising as such. I'm just trying to explain that, that's who I'm going to be from here on in. During, obviously, my illness, I had a lot of time on my hands and a lot of time to think about things. Hi there, Kim. And that's when I realised that at the end of the day, I can only be who I am. I can't be anything other than who I am. And I think that we should all be like that, really. No, it's not affecting you. Oh, that's good. Yeah, it's not good, is it? As I say, I've been watching some of the videos. So, anyway, enough of me prattling on, because I think there's a fair few of you here now. So, let's crack on with this, shall we? Now, as I said, it's not a completed book. It's for you to work in. All right, so consider it a workbook. So some of the answers are there and some of them aren't, and some of them need far more explanation. All right, so sewing a signature into a journal is actually quite hard to put into words. One of the things that I found through teaching is that there's 3 ways that people learn. Some people like the visuals, some people like to listen to someone talking them through it, and some people like to read how to do it. And I figured that the best way for me to teach you how to sew in signatures is to actually physically show you and talk you through it, so then we can sort of think about writing it down in our own words. Okay? I am going to come on to one of the subjects that's in this journal a little bit later on and get your input on it. Okay? And thank you very much, Pat, for reminding everyone. If you could, after the video, after the live, or at another time, just put a comment underneath the actual video. I know that you're here in chat at the moment, but if you could put a comment, that would be much appreciated, and give me that thumbs up. And even better is if you could share the fact that I'm doing this for newbies on any groups that you're able to or that you do belong to get new people coming along, because I can't physically go onto other people's groups and go, hi, just to let you know, because it's not allowed. It's classed as selling. So if you could spread the word for me, that would be really appreciated, more so than the thumbs up and the comments, although that does help the YouTube algorithms. Okay, so let's get down to it. Let me move that book out of the way, put it there. When I ask you, where did I put my book? Say, you put it over there, Carol. Okay, so there are 20 pages to this digital kit. And I think, as I said in last night's video, you get 2 front covers, front and back covers. So you've got volume 1 and volume 2. Volume 1 is the one that has all the written information in. Volume 2, I'm doing it as a blank journal, and I'll explain more as we're going along. All right, but you've got 2 front covers. You then have 3 different widths of spines. So then you've got the written information, and you've got some lists already started for you so that you can add to those lists. So there's like this space down here for you to add, down here and down here, for you to add your own pieces of what you own already, because some of you are already journal makers, so you'll already have a lot of this stuff. This page is about the covers. This page is about the signatures, and as I say, we will be going through these in more depth and more detail, so then you can add the information yourself that makes sense to you, because these all make sense to me. Might not make sense to you. So those are all the written pages which would go in volume 1. You've then got 3, well 4 really, 3 or 4 what I would consider to be blank pages. Okay, so we've got that one for more list making, and this one which I'm going to use for the inside cover, and you'll need 3 or 4 copies of this particular page to make the journal up. And then you've got 3 pages of journaling cards so that you can add these to the pockets that will form the journal and write more information on the back of them, but I'll come back to those as well. I have a lot of info on hundreds of sheets of paper and post-its. This will make it so much easier to put it all together. Thank you very much. So I'm doing volume 2, so I don't need that one. Yeah, I need you. Okay, but I do need volume 2. So I have volume 2, the spines, that way up Carol, the spines, and at the moment I've got 1.5 sheets. I'm sure I've got more elsewhere, and then I've got some blank pages. So there's 4 different, 1, 2, 3, 4 blank pages. Okay, with the written pages, keep them in the order that you've printed them off. Okay, and it'll make sense to you then. So I don't want that for a bit. And the other thing that I've got is I've got a file folder, and this file folder is what I'm going to use to make my cover. You can use whatever card you want, so you can use packaging or an Amazon envelope, but you will need to create a spine space. Okay, so if I put them, let me just think, because I need to keep stuff to hand, put them there on top of my book and take that away because I don't need that just yet. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to trim off, and I did actually save one, the front cover. You need to trim off the excess. And I'm going to give you a little tip. So, when it comes to trimming off the edges of the printed papers, sometimes your paper will go through a little bit skew-if. So if you have got a paper trimmer, old age is getting to me. If you've got a paper trimmer like this one, you will know that you've got a little bar down here that you push the paper up against to keep it lined up. Well, the first cut that you make, don't put it up to the lip. And I'll show you for why. If I put that up to the lip, this is printed skew-if. So when I put this down, it won't cut me a nice straight line. It'll cut off skew-if. So if I cut off the short side first, and I'm lining the print edge up against the wire, okay? So you can see, look, I'm not butting it up against that bar. So we'll cut that one off. Now I've got a straight edge to use. So if I push that up against that bar, everything else should now be in line with that wire. You might need to move the top part of the paper just a fraction, but it should now all be lined up again. cross-fingered. And I actually want this one cutting into 2 separate pieces, so that I've got a front and a back. There's one. Oh, for those of you that are doing this book, you might want to have a pen and paper handy so that you can write some notes down, and then you can write them up in your book. So now I've got my front and my back covers. The rest of the papers, I've cut them out already, so that you don't have to sit here and watch me be boring cutting out all the papers. Now for the second book, as I say, I'm just using these sort of plainer papers, the ones that aren't written on. Now it's up to you how many pages you want to put in your journal, but obviously the more you put in, the wider your spine will need to be. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm using 9 pages, okay? And I'm going to fold them in half and then stack them on top, making a little pile. Just thought better make sure I'm in frame, hadn't I? Otherwise I'm doing this and you can't see what's what. That way around. And I'm lining the corners up and make sure they're in then that I've got that straight edge. Now the other thing is, we are human. So to make sure that we've got all these pages exactly, that was rather demonstrative, exactly the same size, you're probably going to fail. But if you can get all your pages as best you can to have a flat edge here, a flat edge here, and a flat edge here, so that they're all nicely lined up as best as you can, that's all that you can do. Okay, so we've got this folded edge here, and I'm going to flip that over so the folded edge is on this side, and then I'm going to pick up the first page and flip it over. So that opens up like that, and I'm going to put glue around the 3 sides, but I'm going to do it about an inch-ish away from this folded edge. Now if you're not very good at drawing straight lines with your glue, you can actually just draw yourself a line. Get a ruler and pencil out and draw yourself a line. So about an inch-ish around those 3 sides. And that's my hand scraping against the table. And then I'm going to get the next page, flip it over, sit it on top. Tap it all into position. Make sure I'm nicely lined up all the way around all 4 sides. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. Okay, same process again. So we're going to do around the 3 sides, but leaving about an inch-ish on this folded side. Flip that page over, sit it on top, line it up as best you can. That's that next page done. Now you can have a tendency to start just creeping the pages across a little, so you end up with a little step. So that's why it's important to just make sure that you have got it all lined up in the first instance, because as I say, I've made several of these now, and in the beginning I was finding that they were stepping a little bit, so just try and make sure. Carol, did you copy this kit on cardstock or copy paper? So I've printed mine onto this lovely cream paper, which I got from Hobbycraft. I'm going to carry on gluing whilst I'm talking. From Hobbycraft here in the UK. And it's 160 GSM. So it's got a little bit of weight to it. It's not thin photocopy paper like 80 GSM, but it's not as thick as card. It's that in-betweeny kind of weight, that it's still a paper and not quite card. That doesn't help at all, does it? So yeah, it's about, as I say, 160 GSM, and I liked it printed on the cream because it just added a little bit extra to the colour when it was printed. Whereas when I printed it onto white paper, oh, I've gone too far, look. When I printed it onto white paper, I found it really stark. So it just added to the background a little. So I think this colour was ivory. But that was just, again, what I'd got. And as I say, I like this paper, but they have put the price up dramatically on it. And so I've got to find now an alternative to this particular paper. And in fact, today I've actually run out. I've used my last 3 pages of the paper. I nearly went too far again then. See, too busy chatting. Now I'm going to ask you some questions. Okay, whilst I finish gluing these down, let me just put this one in place. And again, as I say, if you're making this book or you're making your own, and I'm going to show you some different versions at the end, you might want to make some notes of what comes up now. Okay, so where's my book? There it is. One of the pages within the book, if I can get to it, is a glossary of junk journal terms. And I wrote, or I typed up, a load of different terms. So, alligator mouth. If you were writing your own notes about an alligator mouth, what would you write? I'll read you what I've put in a minute. But again, just for those that are not in the know of what an alligator mouth is, can you write a sentence about it succinctly? That was a big word for me on a Friday night at this time of night. Succinctly. A journal too large to close like a book. A big fat journal larger than the spine. There you go. See, everyone has their own version of how to word what an alligator mouth is. Anyone else going to have a go? Oh, you've all gone shy now. I bet you're all sat there trying to rack your brains, trying to think about how to word it. I've gone off slightly on this, but what else? Type of closure? Type of closure for what? For this journal, Jan? I'll come back to that later on. We're nowhere near blooming. Oh, sorry. You're on about alligator mouth. No, it's not a type of closure. Okay, so this is what I wrote. Too many pages or signatures forces the open edge to be wider than the spine. There you go. So that's what I wrote. Kim's put, a journal too thick to close flat, gaping open like an alligator mouth. Correct. So I'm just putting my last page in now. Okay, let's try with another one. Put this page on. Racks. R-A-K-S. Or should I say R-A-K apostrophe S. So I'll have a slurp of tea. Correct, Pat. A rack is a random act of kindness. I've put random act of kindness, gifting an item or items to another person. So basically, you could make 10,000 paperclip embellishments, and you could decide to put a little collection together and send them out to someone as a little bit of a surprise, as a random act of kindness. Do something nice for someone else just because. Correct, Kim. Okay. Let's go on to page creep. Does anyone know what page creep is? I want two of these. Whilst you're thinking about page creep, excuse me, I've cut out two of these papers, okay? One I'm going to stick on the front and the other one I'm going to stick on the back in exactly the same fashion as I've just done those. So I'm going to fold it in half. And that one will go on the front. Fold that one in half. And that one will go on the back. Pat's put, nope. Okay. So glue around the three sides again. When folded papers in signature stick out slightly. Is it when your page edges aren't aligned? You're both correct. Let me just glue this one in place and then I'll write down, oh sorry, I'll read out what I've written. So as you start to watch either my videos or other people's videos, you'll hear them using different terminologies. Now I need to make sure we're the right way up. See, that's the top, so I want that way around. And that's the top of that paper, so that's going to go that way round. Right, just make sure that we're all lined up again. And then I'm going to flip it over and put that one on the back. Oh boy, am I a page creeper. Yeah. No, you're not a page creeper at all, Jan. So, page creeping. Too many pages in a signature allows the edges of each page to form steps. So basically, if I was slotting paper inside a paper, inside a paper, inside a paper, it's all right, lovey, you make yourself comfortable down there on that paper envelope again. Dog. is what will happen is the pages start sticking out. Now they'll automatically do that whether you're doing 5 pages or 25 pages, right? Because you've got to remember that when you stitch them in, it'll pull all those middle ones right the way to the back. But if you're doing 25 pages, you'll definitely have stepping going on at the edge. So at this open edge here where you fold the pages over to as a book, they'll start to step out, step out, step out, step out. Now when we're making journals or junk journals, it doesn't always matter so much because it's always nice sometimes to have those different edges rather than all being square. But if you're making a book, some people want them dead square. So it only happens if you add too many pages into a single signature, and we'll come on to signatures and stuff another time. Okay, let me just concentrate where I'm at, because otherwise I could mux this up. Okay, glue around the 3 sides and down this bit down here. So that's my last page. Now at this point I'm going to tell you that you can keep adding pages to this. So even though I've done that set amount of pages, I can keep adding to it. But I do need to remember that I'm going to have a set size of spine. So you can see here, these are all just slightly parted. I'm not going to play with them too much because the glue's still a bit wet, but they are all separated, and that's because of that 1 inch that we've left so that they part a little bit. Now the other reason is that when you open these up, it lies flat, and it lies flat because we've left that space in between each of the folded pages. Okay, so in fact, look, you can see it better there. Let me just hold that like that. So can you see, look, it opens out a bit, fans out. Okay. So that's my pages now all prepared. I now want to see about making the cover, and this is where the file folder comes in. Now the file folder comes in handy because of those folded ridges there. So because if you were using this in an office, if you'd got a lot of papers to go in a single file folder, then you've got those to fold to make it so that you've got a base then for your pages to fit in comfortably. Okay. And I want to work out what size spine I actually need, and I know that I'm going to need the middle one. If I knew that I was going to be adding more pages to this, then I would go for the much wider one. So let's see if I can show you. So can you, if I do it like that, can you see the wide spine? There's a lot of space. Whereas with the middle spine, there's a little bit of space. So it means that I could actually go to add an extra couple of pages if I wanted to. Okay, the little spine is too thin. I want a little bit of movement in my journal to give me the scope to enlarge it if I want. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to cut out the spine. I'm going to cut out so that I've got paper on each side. And I'm only cutting it out roughly, so I don't need those two. But if I was making a fatter journal, I would definitely use the larger spine. And then I'm going to cut across the bottom there and across the top there. so that we've got this extra here, which we're going to taper at each of the corners up to the spine. Okay, so it now looks like that. Get rid of my bits. Okay, let's test you with another one. Tyvek. Do any of you know what Tyvek is? And in fact, it is far more familiar in the US than it is here in this country. I'm just going to fold it and open it back out along that printed spine edge. In fact, I'll just get me bone folder. I retire and still can't get away from file folders. Yeah, but they're much more pleasurable to use these days though, Angie, than when you were working. It's a type of tape or paper that is very hard to tear. Correctamundo, Jan. So we use Tyvek for strengthening, in particular, spines of journals, because it has the ability that you can't easily tear it. Okay, it takes quite a lot of force to tear it. So it gives our spines a lot of extra strength. Okay, so I want to work out the height, and I want a little gap at the bottom here, and I want a little gap at the top up there. So I'm just going to get my pencil. I'm not going to measure because I'm lazy like that. Thick stuff. I love that first line. Vintage Ladies put, I built 3 houses. It is a coated paper like that, goes up between the wood frame and the chipboard and clapboard. Yeah, you see, we don't tend to have wood frame houses here. We have brick built houses. That's why we don't use it so much over here. And Pat's put that thick stuff used on houses before the final layer of whatever it's called is put on wood, aluminium, siding, etc. Also, are Amazon envelopes made of Tyvek or Priority Mail envelopes? You can get envelopes that are made from Tyvek as well. Again, they're more readily available in your country than ours. Okay, I'm just going to mark this. So I want it anywhere between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch bigger at each end. I'm also forgot what I did now, whether I measured. No, I'll cut that first. Let's cut that bit first. Can I put it inside my body on my spine? Pardon? What was that, Pat? Can I put it inside my body on my spine? I'm not quite sure how to answer that one. You can also buy overalls that are made from Tyvek as well. So if you buy an extra large overall, you've got more Tyvek to play with, and sometimes it's actually cheaper to buy the overalls than it is to actually buy Tyvek on the roll or as envelopes. Okay, so that is the third line there that's on the file folder, and if I line that up, I can see that my spine will fit around that area quite nicely to strengthen my spine. Oh, I'm with you now. I is with you. Okay, so I'm going to fold it on that line. There we go. So I've now got the spine of my cover. Okay. Vintage Ladies put, I live on the east coast of the US. We have beautiful New England style houses. Yeah, all right, jealous. Jealous, jealous. Now, because I've got that folded edge there, where the spine is, I know now that my journal will fit to about here. And again, I want it slightly bigger. If I lay it down flat, you might be able to see better then, mightn't you? So that's the folded edge there. I'm just going to line the folded edge of my pages up against that folded spine there, and I've just marked here where I want to cut. Now don't make the mistake that I did, which is have that folded down and then cut through there and cut through both pieces, because one will be too short. So we're going to cut through just that piece, just a single side of the file folder. So again, just going to line it up. And in fact, in this instance, I am going to measure. So from that cut edge there to where my spine is 5 3/4 inches. So I'm going to spin that round, put that folded spine edge on 5 3/4 inches, thereabouts-ish. Just get my rule to just be sure. Beautifully done, Carol, beautifully done. I hope I've got that right. Phew. And that should now fit in there beautifully. Look at that, look. So when we open that up, what we've done by sticking the pages as we have done, we've now got a pocket in between each of, maybe, come on, open up, thank you, each of the pages, so that we can add extra information or samples, because that's what I'm going to use this journal for. Is I'm going to use this as an examples book of different types of journals. So in each of these pockets I will put in a little sample. So all the envelope journals that we've just made, I'm going to make some little envelopes and I'm going to make a sample of each of them, and then I can write about each of those, how I made it, and put the sample in there so that I can refer back to this when I'm looking for inspiration of a different type of journal that I can make. Then I can write about it in my book and I can put a sample of it inside the pocket. All right, now let's go to decorating. So the reason why we folded this is this fold line is going to sit on these fold lines here so that it forms that spine, and it's wrapped around so that it folds with the cover. And in fact I might have to trim a bit off the top. Let me just check something. Yeah, I'm just going to have to trim a little bit off the top. I've cut it a little bit too long. So if I put glue on the back of here, let's talk amongst yourselves a minute. In fact, let's do another test. What is... Ooh, choose one. Substrate. Let's see what you all put down for substrate. And I just want to make sure that I've got enough glue where those fold lines are, because I want to make sure that it doesn't lift up. Okay, and that's going to sit on there. Don't mind a tiny bit of a gap at the bottom, but I've too much of a gap at the top. So I'm just going to take a little bit off that top edge, because I made the cover bigger anyway. Vintage ladies put base. Do that there. So in actual fact, this file folder, whoops, sorry, not the phone. There we go. This file folder is actually a substrate. So it's the base of what you then apply things onto. What did I write on mine? A foundation or base to which other materials are applied. Oh, God, that sounded dead classy, that, didn't it? And then fold that. And I can fold that. And I've now got my spine decorated under the straight. What have you been taking that? What did you have on that toast, Pat? Oh dear. And then I cut these out earlier, so I'm going to sit that one on the edge there, and I'm going to sit that one on the edge there. Now if you want to ink these up, you can do. I'm not bothering, because it's only for me. So I'm just going to put glue around all four sides and through the middle. Now some glues you have to be careful of when you're doing this diagonal gluing, because it can leave a slight ridge. So you could get a little spatula or something and just spread it about a bit if you wanted, so that you don't end up with the ridges. Because it's for me, I'm not worried about that. Okay, that's going to sit on there. Make sure I fit on nicely. And I don't like smushing it about too much this way, because invariably glue comes out. But I do a little bit just for show. The type of glue that I'm using art glitter glue, but I would also use collal glue for doing this. So I like using, when I'm doing paper to paper, I like using the collal glue for the simple fact that because it's quite a runny glue, you've got that little bit of time for movement. With art glitter glue, it's kind of, once it's down, you kind of, that's it. Okay, glue on this. I've been testing out all sorts of different glue bottles. Funny story to tell you, so that I can, you know, give you an informed opinion of different glue bottles when I come to talking about glue on another video. Although I already have done one, I've changed my opinion just slightly on some of them, so I'm going to do another glue video another time. But here's the funny tale. So I've seen this glue bottle yesterday on Amazon, and I was like, I'm going to order it. Ordered it, and you can only order them in quantity. So I had 30 30 of these glue bottles. God knows what I'm going to do with them all. 30 of these glue bottles, and they're not small. Look, I've got 30 of these. Oh dear. See, look, I can't, it's not good for manoeuvring, so if you wanted to shift it just slightly, you can't. That's why I like the Collal. I can get a little bit of movement on it. Okay, so back cover, front cover, and in fact I probably would do a little bit of inking up because there's a little bit too much cream showing there. Now we come to the inside. 30. Oh my god, I see lots of videos in our future. Yeah, but it's like, I haven't got 30 different types of glues. I might have 10, but I haven't got 30. Oh dear me. Right, I need this. So I need one, hang on, one. I'm gonna squeeze. I'm going to squeeze the paper out of that one sheet. So I want one for this side and I want one for that side, but we're putting nothing in the middle. I just got a notification that you're going live. A bit late. Good job you didn't take no notice of that. Let me just have a quick slurp of tea. Okay. So again, placing it in the middle of my cutting thingy, what's it? I'm sure I'm getting dementia, you know. And I'm not being awful, I'm not joking about it, because it's a horrible disease to have. But you know, when you get to a certain age and you start forgetting words. Paper trimmer, there you go. See, it comes to me eventually, but I've got to that age where I forget words. Alright, come on, line up. Twiddle over a bit. There we go. Oh, what's that? Have enjoyed visiting or reading everyone's thoughts, but I need to check out now or else I'll have to pause live chat. Okay, Becky, thanks for joining us. And we'll see you again soon. Hopefully you'll be able to watch the replay. Speed me up a bit. Because I'm coming to the end of this now. We're nearly done. Okay, I folded that in half and I'm just putting that folded edge under my paper trimmer, and I'm just taking like the thinnest line of paper off that folded edge. So now I've got two separate pieces. So those are going to sit there and there. But before I glue them in place, I want to make two belly bands, and I've got this scrap piece. So I'm just going to cut this down. And I want to cut 2 strips approximately, that's the straighter edge, approximately, let's see, let's do a wide one, 2 inches wide. So I want 2 2-inch wide strips. Oop. Get rid of them. I want to check height wise. Sorry, caught the phone again. Right, height wise, I've got a little tiny gap at the top and a little tiny gap at the bottom. Bear that in mind. So I am going to fold over the top edge. Square, Carol, might be quite nice. There we go. And that is going to sit on top. But what I'm going to do is, because there's that little tiny bit of far folder at the top and the bottom, I want this protruding above the edge of this page just fractionally. And I'm going to do it then at the bottom, so when I fold this bit over, there's a little bit protruding out that bottom edge, and I'll show you it when I've stuck it down so that you can see what's what. And this is why I'm not giving you any measurements on this, because if you're doing it with letter paper, yours will be a different size to mine. Okay, so if this is the back cover, I want this belly band about 2/3 of the way across from this edge here. Okay, so that's going to sit there with the little flaps on the back side of this sheet of paper. So let me just stick that down. And that top edge, stick that down. So if I show you close up, can you see that this is protruding just slightly longer than this piece of paper? Can you see that all right? Same at the other end. It's protruding just slightly. Now I can stick that into the back cover. So I'm going to put glue around all 4 sides and through the middle. I hope those of you that have bought the kit are all making notes on this so that you can remember how to do it, otherwise you're going to have to watch the video again. Or maybe you're just clever clogs and will just remember. Okay, and that's going to sit there. My glasses just keep catching the top of my phone, I do apologise. Right, so that's now got a belly band on it. I'm going to do the same for this front piece. So I want that 2/3 of the way across on the left hand side, because that's going on the inside cover. So about there-ish. Fold that bottom edge over. Ooh, that wasn't very straight, Carol. Tried to be a smarty pants then, it didn't work. Oh, it still didn't work. Come on, shape yourself, woman. In fact, we've got a bit to play with. Let me go in a bit further. That's better. Right, so that will go over there. Bearing in mind I want this protruding out a little bit. I don't want it tight. And then I'm going to fold that over, and again fold it so there's that little bit protruding out. I'm going to trim off that excess. Make sure that I've got it in the right place. So, see, I've got it in the right place. I want it that side. So that will go there. Flip it over. Glue that in position. Went too far. There you go. Yep, that's better. It's a better fit. Good job there's glue going on there, Carol. Okay, that's that bit there. And then I can put glue all on the back of this sheet. And that can go on the front inside cover. Okay, and we're done. That's it. Good evening there, Jane. Better late than never. I'm going to show you something in a minute, Kim. Just bear with. Bear with. Okay, so all I've got to do now is open that front cover of the pages, and I'm going to slip this underneath that belly band. Might have to wait a little bit really for the glue to dry off really. I don't want it, there we go. Don't want it popping. Come on. In you go. There we go. And then go to the back and pop this page underneath this belly band. And that's it. That belly band and that belly band is enough to hold those journal pages in place. So when you open it up, it allows that movement. I made the mistake of sticking this first page to the inside cover, and it was too rigid. It needed to be able to maneuver, and that's why doing it with the belly bands actually makes it a little bit easier. So then it opens up nice and flat to each of the pages. And can you see how this back one, it's shifted across underneath the belly band? If you glue that back page down onto the cover, it's too rigid and it doesn't work right. So, did you see that closing back up? Look at how it's shifted. And when you look at it from the spine down from the top, it's a little bit like, how did that work? That looks like a proper book. Okay, so that is all there is to it. Now the good thing is, the good ship lollipop, is that you can pull that out, and I could add some more pages to this. Can you show us, hang on, volume 1? Yeah, we'll do in a sec. So you can add some more pages to this, or you can pull out that signature completely, make a fresh set of pages and slot them in place and keep this set somewhere separately. That's going to slot in there. There you go. Right, so there's volume 1. Oh look, I've put volume 1 on there instead of volume 2. We're going to have to cut that out. So this is volume 1. You see, look, you can't tell, can you? And I'm going to show you the back because it's the front of this book that I did it wrong. I've got some extra things in here as well which I want to go through with you in a minute. So let me take that out. So there's volume 1, look. So that slips out from underneath there. And the thing is with volume 1 is that what you can do is in between each of the written pages, you could put a blank page in, or put a blank page in where you think you're going to be adding more information. Let me just find one to show you. Right, so here I've got that glossary of junk journal terms and your notes, and then on the next page I put a blank one in so that I can write more notes on there if I need to. Okay, and then in between each of the pockets, for now, I've got some index cards with tabs on that I've just slotted in there. So when it comes to the one with the paper, what I can do is I can pull these index cards out and I can attach samples of the different papers or the unusual papers onto the index card and then slot it in that pocket, and then I've got, you know, a reference point again for the different papers. So if I can't remember the name of it or where I bought it from, I can look at the index card, I can see the sample of the paper, and I can see where I bought it from. I could even write down how much it was and what the name of the paper was. But I'm going to go through that with you when we come to papers. Now at the back of the digital kit, I think there's 3 or 4 pages because I can't remember off the top of my head. There's some index cards. So you could make your own index cards with tabs on, just as they are, or line them with some of the backing paper. And you can use those to write extra bits of information on. Now this one and this one I did as a pocket. So I attached it just around 3 sides so that you've got a pocket there. And on this one I did it around these 3 sides so that I've got a pocket there. So that if I want to add, you know, maybe a sample of something. This one I did it as a pocket on top of an extra piece of paper, so that you've got a little pocket there. You've also got, when you cut them out as a long strip, fold them in half, you can make yourself a little booklet. So then you can put the booklets in. So again, like we did with the envelope journals, let me show you with this one because it's just easier. So like with the envelope journals, you can put one part of the notebook into the pocket. Of course, you can put thumb holes on these as well. So you slot that in there. This is a bit too long. But you can slot your little notebook in and have it overhanging the edge. And, right, so that's them. And that's as easy as it is about making that type of journal. So it's, again, it's another quite quick to do journal. Just clearing my decks a minute because I want to show you. Here's one. I'm going to show you this one first. This was just a piece of card which I cut out, and I actually cut this, bearing in mind I've got A4 paper, so I cut this cover to 8 3/4 inches by 12 3/4 inches, and I scored it at 6 1/8, and 6 5/8, and I've lined the inside of it. I put my belly bands on, and I've just made it with coffee dyed paper in exactly the same way, each with stuck together, each with pockets. Now you can, this page was actually smaller that way, same height but smaller this way, and I've glued it in exactly the same way, so I've now got stepped pockets. And on this one, I just wanted to show you that if you've got a tiny bit of paper, then you could add that as well. It acts as a hinge, attaching one page to the other, and you've got 2 little pockets there instead of one really big one. Okay, so you can attach smaller pieces, but it does leave a gap here at the top and at the bottom. Whereas with this piece, there's no gap at the top and bottom in the same way as that one. So you can add different sizes of papers in there. Right, that's that. And then I made a pretty one with my graphic 45 papers. I covered the front with a piece of paper and then put another image on top. Was it graphic 45 or Stamperia? Or maybe a mix of the two. And I put this tag in the pocket here, and I've done the same on the back, and I put a tag in the pocket on the back, and I'm going to punch some holes in those two and then add some seam binding to join the two together so that this becomes a closure. So then I would be able to pull out that one tag and it would open the booklet up. Obviously I need to make sure that I've got enough seam binding between tag A and tag B, otherwise I'll be like and ripping them. But that'll come for another time. And so with this one, what's this? Hang on. Yeah, this was graphic 45. And then I've got this gold pearlised paper. Can you see the shimmer? Gold pearlised paper. And then again, just to try it out, I purchased some pre-printed, not coffee dyed papers, but it's that kind of effect. So I'd got a pack of this paper and I thought, right, we'll use some of that up. So I've done each of the pages with that pre-bought paper, and then the gold paper at each of the ends. And then, as I say, I've done a graphic 45 belly band at each end. Okay, and again, look, so you can see there. All right, so very quick and simple journal to make, so that if you don't like stitching papers into a journal, this makes really quite a quick little journal. I mean, that has taken me, what time did we start? 8 o'clock. It's now 11 minutes past 9, so it's taken me just over an hour. And I've been chatting, and I know I had some of my papers already prepped, but even so, you know, how long does it take you to sew signatures in place? I need to change that. I miffed at myself for that now, for getting the wrong one in. But anyway, there we go. So, really quick and easy to do. Lots of different options. Make sure they're all in shot so that you can see. Has anybody got any questions? Because I need to have a sip of tea. Oh, that's better. Blah, 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 blah. How clever are you, Carol? You see, the thing is, I don't see myself as clever. I see myself as just using my imagination and just thinking outside of the box a little bit. Because sometimes I think that that's where we get stuck, is we see exactly what we're being shown, but we don't think beyond that. And sometimes you do have to think beyond that. Can you show us volume 1? Done that. Exactly what I was thinking. Okay, Cindy, don't know what that was referring to, but fine, great. Vintage lady, love that. Never saw that done with a belly band. Brilliant. Thank you. Pat, love that idea. Pat, I wish Stamperia and Graphic 45 weren't so expensive. Yeah, me too. But they're so darn great. I understand they're worth it. Well, they are and they aren't. I mean, one of the problems I find with them is they're printed on the front and the back. And then you got to choose. Do you want the front or do you want the back? And then you're like, I need to buy 2 packs so that I can use the front of one set of papers and the back of the other set of papers. And then that starts to become really expensive. Absolutely fabulous. Thank you very much, Jane. Kerry's put very beautiful journals. Thank you so much for sharing. Pat's put, I have those darker papers. My sister bought them for me from Amazon. You've one hell of an imagination and a huge box. Yeah, thanks, Jane. I'm ignoring that one. I think I'll be making lots of these. Carol, you're very talented, and I'm so glad you share your time and talent with us. Thank you, Jan. That's really kind of you. Linda's put, these are lovely. Pat's put, I agree with Jan. Well, there you go. We're all agreeing with each other. Oh, sorry, there was one more thing I wanted to show you. See, I knew I'd forget something. Got this piece of paper left over at the side. I was like, what's that all about? So, I've already said that you can attach extra pages, you know, at the back and, you know, add more. But if you wanted to, you could do a tip-in. Oh, I wanted that. That's why I kept that there, you daft moo. I want to cut it down the middle. I would normally do this on the paper trimmer, but, you know, what the hell. So I'm going to fold that edge over. I'm going to fold it in a fair bit beyond the edge of the page. So that's why I've left the cream edge on, because it gives me that bit of extra paper to work with. And then I'm just going to taper there and there. And let's use this page. So we know we've got this pocket here, but we also know that we've got glue at this top edge and this bottom edge. So that's why we might even need to taper it quite a bit more. Let's do a really sharp taper. And then that fold should I haven't got a steady enough hand. I need gin and tonic. Come on. I don't even drink. And then that slots in there like that. Yeah, I need to trim the papers down a bit. But that flap, yeah, I definitely need to trim the papers down. Too big. But that flap I would stick to the inside of the pocket. And then you can have that as a tip-in. So then you've got an extra page that way as well. Or glue it to the outside edge of the pocket by gluing that flap down on the outside edge, maybe using some washi tape over the top of it, make it look pretty, and then that will go over there, and that's a tip-in. A tip-in is on our glossary page. Yes, she is. So there's flips and there's tip-ins. So that's tipping in. If I put a hinge on the top or on the bottom, that's a flip, because that flips up or it flips down. So that's a tip in, that's a flip up or a flip down. Okay, so there you go, you've just had another one. I was wondering at Jane Charlton on the Clough Parent, but was afraid to ask. Okay, so it seems like no one has got any questions to ask me, which is bloody marvellous. I'm actually just going to trim that down a bit whilst I'm here. And as I say, please share the video link with your friends, or at least give them a nod and a wink and say you want to go and have a look at this journal and you want to go and have a look at Carol's book that she's written. Now then, the other question, well, it wasn't a question, but someone commented about that she'd made all the envelope journals, and during March I will be showing how to decorate them up. Although there is a playlist already showing how I decorated them up, I'm going to show you again. There we go, that's a better fit, isn't it? I'm going to show you again because I have got a different idea for one of them that I want to show you. Oh, that glue's in the way. There we go, that's a better fit. So I'll glue that page down inside that pocket. Yeah, if you could share, that would be amazing. And I will love you forever and ever and ever. Maybe till tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to go, guys, and I'm actually going to go and have something to eat now, because I've not had any dinner this evening yet. You've shared it on your Facebook page. Well done there, Pat. Not sure what other pages I'm allowed to share it on. You'll have to check the rules of each group that you belong to, but if you belong to like a beginners group or something, you know, you could show a picture of what you've made and go, look at what I've made. And then if people ask you, you can say, if you message me, I'll tell you. It's a way around it, you see. But anyway, there we go. So that's the creating a journal. So that's the journal for March. We won't make another journal now until April, but during the rest of March I'm going to show you how to make some decorations, decorate your envelope journals and all that good stuff. Okay, so look out for more videos. And I'm sorry, I did mean to bring, I'll get to go in a minute, I did mean to bring you a video last Sunday of the digital kits, but I was poorly, so I wasn't able to do it. So cross-fingered, it'll be this Sunday. Okay. All right, everyone, I'm going. Take care of yourselves. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for all your feedback on the live chat. It's really appreciated. And thank you to everyone who has actually purchased the book itself. And I'll see you all again really soon. Anyone in Australia watching who's near the cyclone, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again. Bye for now. Doodles.